stopped and wondered why it feels so incredibly hard to get ahead with money? I mean, you get a raise, you try to save, but that debt, it just always seems to be there. Well, what if I told you the system isn't just tricky? What if it's actually actively designed to work against you? Okay, let's really get into this.
You heard that right. These aren't just random obstacles or bad luck. No, they are carefully, brilliantly engineered traps set by some of the smartest people in the world, all with one goal: to keep you in a cycle of debt.
Think about it. Pretty much every financial product you see, from a car loan to a credit card, is often designed by whole teams of psychologists and data scientists. And their only goal, is to figure out how to get the most money possible out of your wallet. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain. I'm going to walk you through all 7 of these traps, one by one.
So let's kick things off with the most common traps out there, the ones that are masters of disguise, making massive expenses look like small, totally manageable little payments.
All right, so trap number 1 is what we call the monthly payment illusion. See, companies know our brains are kind of bad at calculating the total cost of something when it's all broken down into these small monthly bites. So they don't sell you a product, they sell you a payment.
Let's use a classic example, buying a car. You see this beautiful $30,000 vehicle, but the conversation almost immediately shifts away from that big number to the affordable monthly payment, right? Well, once the ink is dry on that 6-year loan, you haven't paid $30,000. You've actually paid $37,600.
And that is just staggering. That extra $7,600, that's pure interest. You've basically just made a huge donation straight to the bank's bottom line, all because your focus was cleverly shifted from the total price to that small monthly number.
Now for trap number 2, and this one is a close cousin you've definitely run into, the minimum payment trap. You know, banks set that minimum payment incredibly low, like 1 to 3% of your balance. And they don't do it to help you out. Nope, they do it to keep you paying for as long as humanly possible. A single $5,000 purchase, that can end up taking over 20 years to finally pay off. And here's where the math just gets wild. To pay off that $5,000 by just making the minimum payments, you end up forking over more than $8,000 in interest alone. Your total payback is over 13 grand. That minimum payment isn't a suggestion. It's a perfectly calculated trap designed to feel affordable while making the bank a fortune. Okay, the next group of traps is a little more sneaky. They actually prey on that feeling of success, turning our financial wins, like, getting a raise, and turning them right against us. This brings us right to trap number 3, lifestyle inflation. You finally get that raise you've worked so hard for, and you feel like you can finally breathe. So what do? You upgrade the apartment, you get a nicer car, you start eating out more. Your income goes up, sure, but your spending goes up right there with it, step for step. And the data on this is just jaw-dropping. Studies show that for every extra dollar the average person earns, their spending goes up about 80 cents. This is the exact reason why people earning 6-figure salaries can still be living paycheck to paycheck. It's not your income that builds wealth, it's the gap between what you earn and what you spend. And you know what's a huge driver of that spending? Trap number 4, subscription creep. Each one feels so small and harmless, right? $10 here, 15 there, but it adds up fast. The average person is now spending $273 every single month on subscriptions.
So what's the real cost of all that convenience? Well, if you took that $273 and invested it every month into a simple index fund, over 30 years it would grow to more than $500,000. That is what those little forgotten subscriptions are actually costing you.
Now let's dig into the traps that are disguised as smart financial moves. These are the ones that promise you a fantastic deal, but, well, they usually end up costing you dearly.
And here's trap number 5. You've heard this a million times at the checkout counter. Want to save 20% on your purchase today? It sounds like free money. Who says no to that? But look at the actual trade-off here. You save $40 one time. In exchange, the store gets to lock you into an average of 30% APR, which is one of the highest interest rates you can find anywhere. It's an absolutely fantastic deal for them.
And trap number 6 is another checkout classic, the extended warranty. You ever wonder why the cashier pushes it so hard? It's because it's almost pure profit for the store. Most electronics either fail really early while they're still under the free manufacturer's warranty, or they last way past the extended one. That tiny little window where the warranty actually helps you, it's almost non-existent. All right, this final trap is a really sensitive one because it's all wrapped up in this beautiful idea of creating a better future for yourself. I'm talking about the college debt pipeline.
And that brings us to our seventh and final trap, the student loan system. Now, let me be clear, education itself is priceless, but the system that encourages young people to take on tens of thousands of dollars in debt, that's deeply broken. The average balance is over $37,000, with payments that can stretch on for decades. And this is all happening during your 20s and 30s, the single most important years for compound interest to start building your wealth. That debt literally robs you of your most powerful investing decade.
So there you have it. Those are the 7 traps. But if you start looking closely, you'll see they aren't really that different from each other. In fact, there's a common formula, a pattern behind every single one.
Here's the playbook. Step 1, make the cost feel small, like a tiny monthly payment. Step 2, spread that cost out over a really long period of time. Step 3, appeal to a powerful emotion, like the excitement of a new car or the fear your new laptop might break. And finally, step 4, count on the fact that most of us will never sit down and do the math to see the real total cost.
But here's the really good news. The defense against all of this is just as simple. No matter what you're buying, always calculate the total cost with all the interest and fees. Then, compare that to the alternative, like saving up and just paying cash. And finally, ask yourself one simple, crucial question.
I promise you, once you learn to recognize this pattern, your entire perspective on money is going to change. All of a sudden, you'll see these traps everywhere, in every advertisement, at every checkout counter, in every financing offer. It's like a switch flips, and once you see them, you just can't unsee them. And that awareness, that's your best defense.
And that leads us to the final critical question you should ask yourself before any big financial decision. Who really benefits more from this deal? Is it you, or is it the company selling it to you? The answer to that question will tell you absolutely everything you need to know.